Hey, Will. I gave you the mic. Hi, Lynn. How are you?
Yeah, good morning. Sorry, I was trying to reach my room. It's like I'm not very good at multitasking on my phone when I'm doing that. Got to get back and get the mic turned on, hey?
Let me tell Will, if you can tap the link. I'm like in the bottom it says there's a microphone, a little icon. So you have to tap the link. He'll be back. Actually, Will Brink is a researcher, author, writer. I've been friends with him for a long time and he's incredible. Hey, Will.
Yeah, hello, Will.
The mic's on your left hand side, so when you want to speak, you just hit it and should open up. There you
Got
go.
it. I had to go to my permissions. This is a new phone, so there's all kinds of things that are still being set up and fixed up and all that. So, and I just realized that when you sent me the app, you could, it only worked on the phone. So I was like in front of my computer thinking I was all ready to go and didn't work. But now I'm here. Okay, everything working?
Everything's working. We're live now on Facebook, YouTube.
Mm.
I was in another space and I was trying to get work done without trying to get work done while people are talking to me at the same time. You know how it is, Lynn.
Yeah, multitasking.
Being on space while we're listening to people. So let me do some opening remark. It's gonna be I have my icon here as a listener, but I'm just gonna use Social Chat's microphone because I would have to use my other phone, which is an Android. It's just been an ordeal. So Lynn and I haven't done a show in 2 weeks because I was out not feeling too well. And so and she was moving. So now this is our first show back in 2 weeks. How you doing, Lynn? And Lynn is in Australia.
Wow. That's what time is it in Australia?
It is just gone 8 a.m., so it's
Oh,
about
early.
6 minutes past. Yeah, I was looking for the space, and I saw that Tonya was in the other space, and I thought, but it doesn't look like she's there. Because I joined it to have a look to see if she was there, and I was like, I think she's back over now doing our space, so it's all right. It's all good. That happens sometimes when things run over and you can't get to leave, and you got to set everything up. Hey, Tonya, technology is amazing, but sometimes it just doesn't quite work for us.
Yeah, when it works. When it's working, it's great. When it's not, it's like you don't know why you ever got involved with technology. We're so
I know I've had the worst week because, like Tonya said, we're getting ready to move, and I haven't been able to find my laptop charger, and so I thought I'll have to go and buy a new one because I've just been on my phone, and normally I do stuff on Twitter with my laptop as well. So I've been really like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm looking up, the charges are a couple of $100, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Anyway, my husband had this epiphany through the night and remembered where he actually put the chargers because we pulled everything apart, the garage, all the boxes we packed. And I woke up and he goes, I found the charger in the middle of the night. Now your laptop's on charge. So I might be a little bit more, I might be more literate now because I can actually do stuff on the Twitter while I'm on the phone. So I can tweet on the laptop instead of having to go in and out of the phone. So yeah. Anyway, nice to meet you, Will.
very nice to meet you. I actually lost the charger to my laptop just last weekend and had to go to Walmart to find a new one. It wasn't terribly expensive to get a generic aftermarket charger at least, but yeah, I no idea where I put it. I still haven't found it yet. And like I say, I realized that I didn't have one, and like I said, it wasn't terribly expensive, but yeah, it's like I say, it's those so dependent on technology, and it only takes one thing like a charger or any little thing to completely turn everything upside down what you take for granted. It's like
Exactly.
it's like breaking a toe. You ever break a toe? You would not believe how people
I
you do
know.
not believe how dependent you are on one little tiny thing of your body that you just really take for granted. It's really something.
Because it's all tied up with your balance, your toes.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't realize how much you need your toes for balance. Yeah, my brother lost one of his big toes, and he had a lot of trouble learning how to walk again. And it's like, wow, what's going on?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
broke my
every
big.
part of our body, every part of our body is works, like works in sync and together. How it's meant to be, or and then when
Mhm.
it's missing, we don't realize, like, wow, how
Yeah.
dependent we are. Even if you cut your finger or something like that, and how it affects you, it's quite
Yeah.
amazing,
No,
hey?
it is. I guess it's just the nature of existence to take things like that for granted. Till it's not working, like a toothache or a broken finger or anything like that. But yeah, it's definitely all tied together. I think that's I think dividing things into separate units, uh, in discrete separate units, is a very Western science approach to things. We That's what we just scientists by nature we tend to break everything down to its absolute constituent part, and the Eastern philosophy is much more of the whole sort of view. Um, and as long as something works, they don't really care how it works. And that's sort of the blind spot. So somewhere in the middle is the right answer between the sort of but I think the Western science medical is getting better and better at not uh, seeing everything just down to these individual systems and ignoring other systems. But it's still slow. It's still slow going. As anybody knows who deals with doctors or anything else, getting them
Yeah.
to see you as a system or something else. But to this day, um, the influence of like the mind body connection it's becoming more appreciated for sure in Western medicine, but it's far from really understood or appreciated just how important that is. Again, I give them some credit, but again, it's still they're still missing a lot of parts there. But like I say, I'll give them some credit for that. That they're at least acknowledging the existence of that the brain and the body and are not two separate things. I think they could do a better job of incorporating them, or appreciating that at least. But yeah, like I said, I think that much is. I think there's some improvements there on the Eastern side. They're more attempting to understand why things do what they do. You find that like Eastern medicine, they'll have been eating some herb or something for 2,000 years, and they don't care how it works. They'll say, well, it's good for asthma, headaches, and something. And if you ask them how it works, they don't know. Which to a Western scientist is is impossible to tolerate. We got to know how it works.
So let's talk about your new product, AlphaJoe Coffee Booster, because we need to know
Yeah.
how it works too. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to do a little quick intro. And full disclosure, Will and I are friends. We've known each other for over decades. And
Yeah.
with Life Extension. And so Will is a published author, industry consultant, and highly respected expert on nutrition, supplements, health, fitness, longevity, and as well as a highly regarded trainer of top level athletes, police, and military personnel. So, and also, Will, you graduated from Harvard, and I feel like when to Harvard, you think, did you see yourself heading down this path as far as getting into nutrition and
No, well, I have to say, not as a profession. So, I think, as I told you, so sort of a two-part, I was in college. I was, 20 years old. I worked out, was in pretty good health, took a vitamin, more or less. I mean, I was into working out. I was already into it, but I wasn't like a big focus. I was a journalism and psych major, and I got Hodgkin's disease, which is a cancer of the lymph nodes. And that obviously was a real game changer to changing my whole focus on, really focusing on understanding health and fitness and wellness. And I was reading. I remember clear as day. I was reading. I was reading Muscle and Fitness, and there was an interview with Dirk Pearson on life extension. So for those who are not old enough to remember, now Dirk Pearson and Sandy Shaw wrote the book called Life Extension. And it was a total game changer when it came out. It was written in the 70s, and it was the first of its kind in a full book that outlined, all the things we take for granted, again, supplements and anti-aging medicine and all that. And in the book, it talked about that Sandy Shaw, his wife, had gotten this very rare cancer, and she had taken vitamin C and E in high doses when they were giving her radiation treatments to avoid the damage. So I started taking C and E for some of the treatments that I was having, and I avoided to a large extent the damage to that area that they told me I was going to experience. When I told the doctors what I was doing, they said, "Oh, that's not what's preventing the burning to your skin," because I had to have some local radiation, and that was really the opening door where I went from a general interest in working out, staying generally healthy, but it wasn't like my focus to really getting interested in and going down a real rabbit hole of finishing that degree and going back to school. That's when I went. Well, there was quite a bit of time between those two times when I finished that school and went to Harvard pre-med. There was a good, I don't know, 5, 6 years. But I had a training business. I was writing some articles for the magazines. And I was going to doing pre-med, thinking that I may go into medical school. But I started to get contacts from companies as I was writing for the magazine. Man, this is pre-internet. Remember, there was a time when there was no internet, which some people, again, it's hard for them to imagine such things. But I used to write for all the magazines, Muscle and Fitness and Muscle Mag International and Flex and Inside Karate and a whole bunch of them. And I started to get some contacts from companies about doing consulting work. And so I started doing that. My various doctor friends, when I started to say, I'm kind of at this crossroad of finishing this pre-med and stuff. And most of their advice was, look, if you've got a career going and you're making money and all that, and you don't have to go to medical school, go do that, because medical school is another 6 years of your life. It's probably $500,000 or so loan. And one of those doctors at that time, I think I told you this, Tonya, was Steve Joyelle, who I knew way back in the day. I think, we're talking 90s here, I think, who is also a doctor at the time. And he was, not a real happy doctor. And he also said the same thing. He said, if this is a direction, you're getting these contracts and you're doing good and you don't have unless you just have your heart set on going into medical school, which I really didn't. The advice of doctors I knew at the time was to go focus on that. So that's really how I kind of went down that road onto itself, and ended up, doing work for Life Extension Foundation proper, and a whole bunch of other companies, being involved in academic research. And so, yeah, it all, I think it all went where I guess fate or, karma or whatever sent me down that road. But if that hadn't happened, if I hadn't been writing for the magazines and something intervened, I guess I would have ended up going to medical school and, being a doctor. I guess that's what would have happened, assuming of course I, got through it and survived it and all that. There's no guarantees of that either. But so that's the long and the short of how I ended up doing what I ended up doing. And then the internet started to appear. And I was an early adopter of the internet, luckily for me, again, because that really worked out well, because I saw the writing on the wall that this was going to be, at the time there people were saying, oh, it's a fad. The internet's just going to be, if it survives, it'll just people sending emails back and forth. Don't put a lot of stock into me. I thought the internet was clearly going to be, the next big thing. And I was even trying to tell there was a couple magazines at the time, the publishers who just, again, told me I was crazy, and the internet, they didn't want to get on the internet, and I saw the writing on the wall. So the internet pretty much killed those magazines. And luckily for me, I had an established website that at the time I had more readers than they did by the time they went under, because the internet pretty much killed the print magazines as we know it. So I was sort of lucky there, or worked out. But I mean, to me, it was obvious that, what the internet was going to be. And I mean, nobody could have foreseen just how big it is and how big it was. But I remember, the first time sending an email and going on, you remember the Usenet groups, Tonya?
Yes, I can't
You're old.
believe you mentioned that. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're old enough to remember the Usenet groups. Remember the Usenet groups way back? Those to total. And I remember the first time I sent an email or a few emails, and I was on a Usenet group. I was like, "There's no way this is not just going to get bigger and bigger." And and I need to be part of this and stay get a website up and start, because and like I say, and then lo and behold, like all those magazines are all out of business. They're all gone, and the few that are struggling, that are still exist, I mean, they have a fraction of the readers that they used to have. I mean, they Muscle and Fitness, I think if it's even around, I don't know, but I mean, it had like 5 million readers at one time. Now if it has 100,000, I'd be stunned. And like I say, the rest of them are all pretty much gone. Nobody's willing to spend money on glossy magazine stuff anymore. So
Print is dead.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, say I don't even know. I have to wonder what, like, the ones that are still out there, what they still have for readership. People or Vogue or whatever those magazines. But I don't know. I don't know anybody that reads them anymore.
So so I remember, when you launched AlphaJoe Coffee Booster, and we're not going to mention the other brand that we always talk about that don't have much data on it. But you're full of data, and you have like doctors and different people behind your product, AlphaJoe Coffee Booster. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about it? And because I know you've been doing this for over 30 years as a consultant to some of the biggest names in sports and performance nutrition biz. So you've helped develop a lot of products for other companies, and now you've decided to do it on your own. And so tell us about that. And I know it's blowing up right now. I mean,
well, I tell you, none of those things that just kind of went its own direction. So I've always done basically I've always been behind the scenes doing product development and consulting work. And I had it's been 10 years or so. I had put together a formula because I love coffee, and I had a formula that I was making, and I gave it away for free on Brink, which people can still download it and make it themselves. And people would always say, Will, if you just would put this in a bottle for us, we'd buy it from you, because we're making this formula and we like it. And I just didn't do anything with it. I was busy doing other things. And a couple years ago, I basically said, okay, it's time to take this formula and see if, again, one of the usual companies that I do some work for would be interested in it. And I thought, maybe this is the time that I should just do something on my own. Maybe this is the signal that I should not approach other companies and just do this under my own name and my own brand for the first time. And that just kind of a light bulb. That was like one of those moments where I just said, yeah, I think that's time to do it. So, but the formula itself has been around for, like I say, 10 years. The thousands of followers that I know make it every day. And would always ask me, I got to go, Will, if I have to go find these ingredients and which brand and how much, and so you have to be motivated to do it that way. So everybody obviously would much prefer to take one scoop, put it in their coffee, and be done with it. Which basically what I ended up doing. So, and then leave my luck. I started this, of course, when COVID hit a couple of years ago, and that kind of, like for everybody, understandably, I just put a delay on everything. But even then, people were, my basic motto is people still have to drink coffee. No matter how bad things are, they're still going to drink coffee. So that was my motto, just getting through all this craziness. There were some delays and, product. I mean, everybody was suffering from dealing with certain ingredients coming in and all that. So, but that's how it got going. Again, it was just one of those fortuitous things where I put it out as a basic formula, which I was following, and other people, used, and I was always getting requests to put it from followers on my website stuff to put it in a can. So that's pretty much it. It was kismet or something.
So let's talk a little bit about the ingredients. So what all you need to do is put a teaspoon in there in your coffee and dark.
No, it comes with its own scoop. So you just take the scoop and put it in there. It's a 7-gram scoop. So it's that's a little more than a teaspoon. Teaspoon's generally 5 grams. So slightly sort of like it probably would end up being like a rounded teaspoon amount. And it's just 3 key ingredients. It's a very simple formula. It's non-processed, and that's important, non-alkalized organic cocoa, creatine monohydrate, German only, Creapure. I only use the good stuff, and L-tyrosine. And that's it. Very simple, straightforward formula in doses that are research supported. Again, that's an important one. Many products out there have what I like to call label decoration amounts of ingredients that they may have some science behind them, but they often don't use the doses that the science shows, is required to do something. So that's where AlphaJoe, or at least that's where any formula I try to come up with. I try to do my best to follow the published literature on doses, and where it doesn't exist. I mean, so for example, cocoa. There's a lot of good data on benefits of cocoa, but there isn't a known dose. There isn't like a study showing one dose versus another. There is a lot of really good data on various amounts, but I took took a best case scenario dose and sort of added some to that.
Well, I like the cocoa. I mean, it's you have it like cocoa has reduced blood pressure, improved insulin resistance, and improved ketone.
Yeah, it's amazing stuff. I mean, cocoa has like coffee. I mean, it's got something like 500 or so different compounds in it, and a small of which have even been examined. Like coffee's got almost 1,000 compounds in it, of which, if a third of them have been researched, I'd be surprised. And cocoa is good, but the ones they have researched have been very impressive. It improves like cerebral blood flow, heart. It's really good for your heart, nitric oxide production, antioxidant. People that want to see a lot of good write up on benefits of cocoa can go to my website, Brink Zone. I post everything there. I have one section under bombproof /AlphaJoe Coffee. And every time I find good studies, interesting studies about any of those ingredients, that's where I talk about it. But there was one study found, and considering where we're at, one study found that cocoa is a very potent antiviral, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. I did not know that. I mean,
yeah, it seems to have some pretty potent antiviral effects. So I mean, again, how relevant is that specifically to current situation and all that? I'm not sure, but there is definitely very potent antioxidant, cerebral blood flow type effects. It's shown there's probably improved like body composition. So there's a long list of things that it can potentially does, and still being elucidated. Like I say, there's a lot of compounds in cocoa and coffee that have yet to be even studied, and there is at least one study finding the combination of the two is even more beneficial. Hence, why I like to put it in coffee. So we know cocoa and coffee combined have a synergistic effect, stronger than either one by themselves. And like I say, you add the creatine and the tyrosine, and you have a pretty healthy, potent. I like to say it's good for you. It tastes good, feels good. That's pretty much trifecta win as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I didn't know.
You can't ask too much more out of a product,
Yeah, so let's talk about L-tyrosine. So I know it's an incredible amino acid, but tell us about that, because I know you work with a lot of military and police officers and different things, but you have it here as that the U.S. Army was using this.
No, I mean the military likes to study things but not actually end up using it, which is unfortunate. But no, they're not using it, but they've studied it. I mean, MIT and NASA, Navy, they did some research with Navy SEALs on it, but they don't use it, which again is a mystery to me. But this happens a lot. I've written a review paper with Dr. Hodebeck on supplements for the military, and it's amazing how much research is out there done by the military for the military, and yet none of this stuff ever makes it to the guys or the guys and girls. But that's another story. But yeah, tyrosine has a fair amount of research, in some special operations guys and pilots. NASA looked at it. And it's a very interesting amino acid. It's lowers cortisol, but the basic premise of it is that it's the precursor. The brain uses tyrosine to make the neurotransmitters, the excitatory neurotransmitters that wake you up and keep you awake. So like when you are studying or whenever you're doing something, or you get that brain tired, that's your brain running out of those neurotransmitters. So that's like epinephrine, that's dopamine, all those sort of excitatory, wake you up, keep you awake neurotransmitters. And so one of the limiting, so having enough, so it's not a stimulant, it doesn't make more of those, it just prevents you from running out of them. It's a precursor. So it's not like anything, it's not like, say, it's not a stimulant, it's mostly noticed, the benefit is noticed more like when you're, stressed and tired and your brain is just, not working and all that. And that's some of that, like say, some of that whole effect is you running out of your brain, just not making, is running out of neurotransmitters. So it's not, like I say, it's not a stimulant though. It doesn't feel like, caffeine or some stimulating thing. It's more of a improve your concentration, keep you able to concentrate on things longer. Like they did there was a really interesting study with the SEALs. So they took two groups of Navy SEALs during winter warfare training, and one group got tyrosine, and the other one didn't, and they had to do a memory test, and then they sent them out to do their winter warfare training, and then come back and redo the test. And the group that got the tyrosine scored the same on the test, and versus the ones who didn't. The ones who didn't, again, their brains were fogged up and not working, and because they had gone out in the freezing cold and running around and using up all their precursors. So so there's a number of very promising studies on tyrosine, and like I said, I think it has some other. One of them I thought was very promising. Like I said, it lowers cortisol. Again, we know cortisol is the stress hormone, and when cortisol is elevated, that's a negative. There's not as much information on tyrosine as there is on like creatine. I wish there was more, and I'm always looking for more improved research on tyrosine. I'm always searching around for something new. But what does exist is compelling enough, certainly to warrant its use as an anti-stress amino acid. I guess that would be the best way to put it, because it's not. I do see people mistakenly call it like a stimulant or something, and as I said, it's not a stimulant. It doesn't stimulate. Like I said, it just keeps you from running out of those neurotransmitters that keep you awake. So actually, which is why like pilot, like the military, the Air Force interested for pilots, NASA is interested in it for space travel and that type of thing. But unfortunately, I don't think very commonly they research things, find benefits, and then somehow it just never makes it to the people that need it. So that's like I say, there's always a bit of a disconnect in there, unfortunately. You have researchers that are interested in a thing, but in the middle, men, the sort of are very conservative. The military medical establishment are very, very conservative, and they're gonna, you have like DARPA. DARPA is the most cutting edge. That's the super cutting edge part of the military where they do all the most advanced research. DARPA has a whole nutrition area, a whole area where they research supplements and nutrition stuff. And I don't know of, but the only thing that's really made it over to the military side is like caffeine. The military loves caffeine. They put caffeine in everything.
Well, I think they're working on the NAD right now. They're doing studies on NAD right now. That's what I was told. So that's going to be an interesting time. Let's see what the last ingredient is. Creatine. See, when I hear creatine, I think I even mentioned this to you already, but I think creatine, I think of steroid, I think of gym. I think of guys working out heavy, so they take creatine to make their muscles bigger. But then
Right.
some studies that say also it helps for anti-aging purposes. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, like I say, I started writing about the health benefits of creatine in the 90s. And that's how long it's been around for health anti-aging benefits. It's very good for your brain. Well, it's good for just about everything I look at, but it has all kinds of amazing effects. But creatine is one of those supplements where I would use it if I didn't work out at all. And I tell people, every aging population should be using creatine. Um, there's just the amount of benefits to creatine, brain metabolism especially, but heart, liver, for example. One of the best studies show that one of the best treatments for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is creatine. There's some really interesting. The Department of Defense looked at creatine. It was focused on it as for brain damage. The NFL is looking at it. It's very good for your brain. It's very neuroprotective. It's associated with, again, it's been used with neurological diseases, neuromuscular diseases. It goes on and on. I mean, creatine is easily the most researched supplement ever by tenfold. There's stacks of studies on creatine. There's also studies on creatine mood, depression. So that one is, again, a mystery to me, why creatine is not like on everybody's shelf. And again, while it has benefits to the gym, of course, there's probably more health benefits to creatine. Not probably, there absolutely is more health benefits to creatine than there is even gym type benefits, and especially in aging populations. But even in I say aging populations, but that's only because that's only people that should be doing more for their health. But it works with infants. It helps with their brain metabolism. There's even a paper where it helped pregnant mothers. The kids come out with better working brains when they give it to them, even in utero. Because your brain is your most energy intensive organ. It's a huge demand. It's the biggest demanding organ on your energy system, your ATP creatine energy system. And so, and it's very sensitive system to energy fluctuations. Your brain really does not like any fluctuations in energy supply, which is why it's so easy to get, if your brain doesn't have oxygen going to it, I mean, you're talking brain damage in, 3-4 minutes. And that's how sensitive it is to energy fluctuation. And so they find that creatine is very neuroprotective in terms of like brain damage, so that you can give animals creatine and cause stop the blood flow or stop the oxygen, and their brain is protected for a much greater period of time without that oxygen. It's what they call hypoxic damage. So the creatine obviously is working at the level of the what am I thinking of? It's working at the very basic level, like the mitochondria. I mean, so it's working in the level of the mitochondria, and is protective to mitochondria and our ability as we age to, again, make enough creatine to fuel all those cells, and everything gets poor with age. But it's utterly non-toxic. It has no taste. It has decades now of safety data. So that one, with no pun intended, is a no-brainer to use. Which, again, Life Extension was the first anti-aging company to pick up creatine for anti-aging, for health and anti-aging, because I approached them, because I knew Bill, and Bill said the same thing. He didn't know. He said, "Well, this is gym stuff. We're anti-aging. Why would we sell creatine?" And I sent him all these studies, and he was like, "Oh, wow, I had no idea. This is amazing." And this was 20 years ago. Before we got way more research now, but this was 20 years ago. So Life Extension was, again, to give Bill credit, having an open mind, at least after seeing all the data, was the first anti-aging company to pick it up and appreciate it as an anti-aging, health promoting, longevity sort of supplement versus just a bodybuilding gym thing. So they were, like I say, I have to give them credit there, I think. And now, creatine's finally getting almost the attention it deserves. I have to say, it's getting a lot of attention these days. I've seen some pretty conservative doctors recommending it online and stuff. There's a couple of YouTube channels I follow from docs, and I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised to see them. And I consider them fairly conservative guys that were recommending creatine. Another thing really interesting, for example, creatine may be valuable with long COVID. There's a paper that they might be doing a study on to see if it helps. But again, it makes perfect sense that it would help with long COVID, because long COVID is a mitochondrial issue, that the mitochondria has been damaged by the virus, or well, secondary to the virus has been damaged by oxidative stress. So there is a pretty good paper that I put on my website that at least postulates that creatine probably is going to be beneficial to people that have long COVID, which is an estimated like 20-30% of the people get long COVID. That's a lot of people. I mean, that long COVID is going to be a whole business unto itself, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, there's clinics popping up. Lynn, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just having a look up. I've never heard of this before, so I was just having a look at it, up online. So I was just saying online that the creatine's in meat and seafood. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, it's in meat and seafood. The usual, it's just sort of the usual issue. So the typical dose of creatine, the most beneficial dose of creatine, which is very well known, is basically 3 to 5 grams. And of course, like vitamin C or anything else, like you want to get 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, you'd have to eat 5 cases of oranges. So it does exist in, basically omnivores tend to have higher tissue levels of creatine than, say, vegetarians, but you'd have to eat like 5 pounds of red meat a day or something to get 5 grams of creatine. So it is in there, and those who, let's say, omnivores, or those who do eat, say, higher creatine foods, maybe not need as much, but because it's inexpensive, and well, it used to be dirt cheap. These days, again, it's gone up because of the COVID has made a lot of things hard to get. So creatine, which used to be one of the cheapest things you could buy, has gone up a bit. So yeah, it exists in red meat, especially herring. I think there's some fish, that really awful tasting fish, is very high in creatine. So you can get it from your food, and of course you can make it. Your body can make it itself to a point, but there is no lack of data showing that 3 to 5 grams, and my product has 3 grams, and my formula also that people can make themselves has 3 grams. So yeah, you'd have to, if you calculate how much high creatine foods you'd need to eat to accomplish 3 to 5 grams, it's quite a bit. I don't remember what the number is, but it's more than most people would want to eat, or more than probably would be optimally healthy when you're also trying to get in, fruits and vegetables and all that.
So did you say you have that in your coffee?
Yes, that is I put it in my coffee. I have, like I say, for a decade, with the formula that I tell people they can make themselves, and or put it in, just use my own product. If you're in Australia, you can go to Brink, just go to my website, and there's I give away the formula. So anybody wants to make it themselves, and wants to get those things separately, get those 3 key ingredients separately, and follow the directions, can make it themselves.
I just had a look at your Twitter feed. It's got no reference to your website or anything. So maybe Tonya might be able to help you with that. Get all that on there, so when people are looking, they can actually go straight to your website from the link, and maybe put a reference to the coffee as well. Yeah.
Well, if you're on my Twitter feed, it says right there in big letters, Brink Zone, right underneath you. There's an active link right there.
Let me have a look. It's not on your profile, that's all.
Yeah,
on my profile. Let me see. It's on my main. Let me look at my profile. Yeah, it should be there.
Brinkzone.com.
Yeah, right there.
I think you should have a link for your AlphaJoe, but I think you should have a Twitter page for your AlphaJoe.
I don't know why. Yeah, it's right there though. But yeah, so if you see Brink Zone, it's should be right in front of you.
Yeah, no, all I can see is Will Brink, and there's only just saying you joined in May 2022 and 1 follower. Unless I can see a tweet that
Oh,
you
you
put on
might
there.
be Tanya. What do you see? Tanya, don't you see my link right on my profile?
Let me share it. Yeah, it's on it's right underneath West Palm Beach, Florida. It's brinkzone.com.
Yeah, you should see it. It says right. Will Brink,
Yeah.
writer, researcher, consultant, West Palm Beach, brinkzone.com. It's an active link. So that should
No,
take
it's
you
not.
right
It's
there.
not. It's not on the Twitter feed that I'm looking at. I'm just looking at your profile, and
All right.
that's all I can see. So I don't know why. That's weird.
I don't know. Is that something to do with would it be blocked in Australia or something? I have no idea. Because like I say, it's
No, really.
right there for me.
I just
Yeah.
clicked on your
Yeah.
and then it comes up with @willbrink8. That's your Twitter profile, but it
Mhm.
doesn't have any tweets or anything. Maybe because you're fairly new. Sometimes it does. It's weird.
You might be on somebody. I hope you're somebody isn't some sort of a fake. I've been on Twitter for
No.
20, as long as it's existed. I've been on Twitter for.
It says you've got one follower.
No, I don't know. You're somewhere else. I don't know where that is, but no, I've got hundreds of if not thousands of tweets.
I'll send it to Tonya and I'll show
Yeah,
her.
yeah. See what it. But no, like I said, I've been on Twitter for.
So what happened? I just did
forever.
At Will Brink.
Uh-huh.
Someone took your. Remember, there's a at Will Brink. This is at Will Brink 8. I didn't have the 8. How's that?
Yeah, but on the actual, because I've actually just clicked on your profile while you're talking. So you're purple, which means you're actually online talking now, and that's how I'm getting you. And that's what comes up. It comes up with Will Brink. One follower.
I see. I see what you did. Right. No, I see. Or no. So yeah, you're going to have to go to. I don't think Tanya. I don't know if. So she's hitting the actual picture. I see what she did. So if I hit it, yeah, I see the same thing. I see Will Brink 8. That's not me. I don't even know what. I mean, that's. But
it is you.
I don't know where that.
It's saying you're talking.
Yeah, I don't know where that takes people. I don't even know where that's taking people. If you. But I see what you're doing.
One profile.
Yeah, I see that.
Profile. There's no other profile I can see.
I think it's one because this is a new one, Will. Because I think you can log in, and so you made this one a while back, actually. Not this like last week or something. Because I saw you in here, but your other one at Will Brink is the one that I know of. That's the one that has your Brink Zone and all your stuff in it.
So but I see what happened here is that somehow Will Brink 8, and I don't even know where this comes from, joined May 2022. That's not even, you know what? I think somebody put up a fake. I think this is a fake. I'll have to look.
Oh, Will?
It's not a fake. It's not a fake because it shows us that you're talking and that's you.
But it says joined. It says joined May 2022. I joined, and it says born May 1986. I wish this is not me. I don't know how this got connected.
Yeah, that's crazy. Somehow you logged in and you.
I have no idea how this got connected or how this is working, but this is not what I came. So yeah, I'll have to look into this. I have no idea who this is or what this is. So this is very odd. But
if you have a look at it, you're purple, which means you're on the space right now. So that is what profile you're actually on Twitter right now. Is that profile?
Let me see. Very odd. Well, I don't like say it says joined May. Even if I had opened this or made this profile, it wasn't made to 2022. This would, if I made it, be so old I've never even seen this thing. So yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this. But my normal, if once you're off, if you just go and search Will Brink, you'll see my normal profile. I have no idea what this is or how this got.
Yeah, I think you might have made it. No, I don't even know how you got into this because you logged in. You had an app. You logged into your phone. So
I don't know. Yeah, it got me. That's a curious one. But yeah, it's at least we found out what is going on here. But I have never definitely not set up any new profiles in 2022. That's for sure. So if it was there, it would have been something.
Yeah. It's really strange because you are actually logged in on that profile, and that's what you're talking on Twitter right now is on that actual profile. Yeah.
Now, if I look, I'm looking at plus I'm looking at social chats, and I see that I also I see that Tonya she tagged the right one. It's at Will Brink, not Will Brink 8, but just Will Brink. So yeah, that's very odd. All right, well, I'm glad you saw it, but Yeah, once you, and if you get off or just go to brinkzone.com, that'll take you to the recipe and all that. So I have to jump off, guys, because I have to actually walk my dogs, and if I don't, there's going to be
10 minutes.
they're-
Hey, Will.
they are pacing. They're coming into the office now and pacing around and looking at me. So I have to get that. I have to get that done.
So tell us how to get a hold of you, and then.
So of course, with the confusion. So Tonya, next time let's you and I figure out why this linking to this weird for the next one, why this is linking to this odd mystery profile. But people can find me at like say brinkzone.com or will at brinkzone.com is my email. So, and yeah, we need to have an AlphaJoe Twitter. We have AlphaJoe everything else, IG and websites and Instagram and all that. So I don't know why this is not my area of. I'm not the marketing person. Why he hasn't Twittered us up yet, I don't know. We need to have one.
I'll figure it out for you. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But have a great day. I know you're.
All right, guys.
Take care, Will.
All right. Good talking to you all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Will. I love Will. So yeah, actually I can send you the link if you want to make your own. I think it's if you go to AlphaJoeCoffee.com, he has a whole link on it that you can make your own. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
no, it's really strange because he actually logged in on that account, so it's
Yeah, I don't think yeah, that's kind of weird because he logged in into his account and that brought I don't even know how he got into his account. But I know
because
Brink account,
it's really weird.
yeah, his Will Brink account he's been around since 2009 and he has like 3,354 followers, so it's kind of strange.
It's really strange because he would have logged in on that account because it was showing purple, and that's how I found. You know what I mean? I clicked on his profile on the picture, and that came up to say that's what he was talking on. So he's actually logged into that somehow. It's weird.
I know we'll figure it out. Yeah, but actually, everyone, I'm horrible, but he did give me this to try out, and I gave it to my friend because he's more into coffee. Then now I'm looking at some of our other friends that he knows that I know that they're pretty famous fitness people. They're putting it in their tea and stuff, so I gotta try that out.
Yeah. I've never been a great coffee drinker, but I know that there are benefits to coffee. I mean, I know a lot of people do have lots of coffee and just go off, a coffee diet sometimes. But when you were talking about the benefits of a cocoa, I use that with a mushroom powder and or just a drink, and pure cocoa is really good. Yeah, I use it in my cooking, and it's not just that drinking chocolate that we used to have when we were kids with all the other stuff, but the pure cocoa or the beans. Yeah, there, and I have the cocoa butter as well. So yeah, it's actually quite beneficial, and I think because it's plant based. Hey, anything that's plant based is in some form or another good for us because it's coming from the earth. And I suppose he made a little bit of a point there that we all want to know, what it's doing. And I suppose we do need to know what certain things are doing. But I do agree to a certain extent about stuff because when I get in my car, I don't want to know how it works. If it breaks down, I say, my husband's got to fix it because he tried to explain it to me. So I don't even care how it works, babe. I just want to get in and know that it goes. And so,
I'm the
that's
same
what
way.
you
I'm
know,
the same way.
yeah.
So hi, Brent. So I want to kind of close out the space early because I had another space at 7 p.m. that I didn't get a chance to promote my beauty space. But I'm so glad that we finally did a space. I actually have to change our promo video. I got to add your updated picture because I have the old one on there. So I'm going to change that.
That's all good. Don't worry about that. It's fine. I don't mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just keep it like that. I think my avatar is my cartoon version. So I want to make sure that I just have it from before. But if you want me to keep it that way, I'll just keep it because
I don't mind. I just decided to put my face on there because it's like, I'm doing some other stuff as well. So I just changed it to my own face. So I don't mind. Everyone knows who I am. So yeah.
well,
I
I'm
haven't
excited
looked at
about
my
your book.
profile
How's your book going? Are you gonna?
Yeah, I've been a little bit like I've actually, like I said, I lost my laptop charger and that's been missing probably for the best part of over a week or more now. And I was just like peeking out thinking, no, I've got to get another. I thought today I was going to buy a new one. So I knew it would be somewhere where we packed it. My husband found it in this really random spot that I thought of last night. I thought, no, it's not there because, we redid all that before when we packed everything up. But here it was. In the middle of the night, he woke up and remembered that he put it there. And so it's on charge now. Because I've actually not been able to do anything. I find it really difficult on my phone. Even though I've got an iPhone, it's really hard for me. I need to be able to have the computer. So I haven't really worked on it for a couple of weeks. We've been so busy, like selling the house, and it's not sold yet. And the daughter's got stuff going on, and then I wasn't feeling really good. I had a bit of a bad back, so I took a little bit of time out to just reset. So it's been good. I don't ever feel bad about not having spaces and stuff. It's fine, Tonya. We need to live real life, and we need, you're doing a lot of amazing spaces, so don't ever feel bad that it's all good. You have a great day, and lovely to see you again, Brent.
Okay, everybody, have a great day, and we'll be back next Wednesday at 6 p.m. for Social Chats Healthy Lifestyle. I have a couple of really incredible guests. I'm excited. I can't say anything yet until I confirm from them. I sent out the invite, but then when I get the approval, I'm gonna let you know. I can't say it because I don't want to jinx it.
Okay, cool. Looking forward to it. You have an amazing day.
Okay, everybody, have a great day. Thank you, Brent. Bye.